Hey guys, it's Cassette, and today we are doing some old content. We are doing Yogg-Saron 10-man One Light in the Darkness, which is essentially the heroic version of Yogg-Saron, but whatever. So let's just delve right into the strategy because this is going to be a somewhat longer video due to the sheer amount of strategy and shit that his boss throws at you. So, yeah. So, first we have the keepers. There are 4 keepers. There's Mimiron, Freya, Thorm, and Hodir. They all have separate abilities that help you during the fight, and the hard mode is doing it with one of them instead of all 4. So we chose Thorm because you get a health increase, and he kills the immortal creatures during Phase 3, and that's the only way you can kill them in Phase 3. The other fight mechanic that you need to pay attention to is Sanity. Sanity is a debuff that starts off at 100 when you walk in the room, and throughout the course of the fight gets lowered and lowered and lowered. When it hits 0, you go insane, like Blood Queen, and just fuck shit up and kill people and whatever. So yeah. Phase 1 is sort of an indirect phase. What you do is you take the Guardians, which the ads that spawn, kite them to the boss, which is Sarah, and you kill them. And the splash damage that they do when they die damages the boss as well as your raid, so make sure you have your raid heals kept up. Something you need to watch out for is the clouds that she spawns during the fight. If anyone in your raid touches them, it spawns another ad. And while that doesn't seem like a big deal, they can add up very quickly because she'll be spawning ads on a timer as well as spawning ads from the clouds that people step in. So watch out for that. And during the phase, she also casts 3 debuffs on raid members: Sarah's Fervor, Sarah's Blessing, and Sarah's Anger. And I'll put what they are and what they do in the text in the video. The Guardians of Yogg-Saron have something called Dark Volley, which can be interrupted. It does 9,000 to 11,000 shadow damage to the entire raid and also reduces healing effects by 25%. Once again, it can be interrupted. Once she reaches 0%, you go into phase 2, which is the Tentacle and Brain phase. Basically, well, I'm going to split this up into 2 kind of separate phases of phase 2. You have the Tentacles, which need to be taken care of. You have Crusher Tentacles, Corruptor Tentacles, and Constrictor Tentacles. Crusher Tentacles, you should have your range on and a tank. Corruptor Tentacles, you should have your DPS on, your melee DPS on. Constrictor Tentacles can basically be ignored until they grab someone, and then they can just be like one-shotted since they only have like about 8,000 health. She does throw some debuffs out in the raid. Psychosis, which does 5,000 shadow damage and reduces your sanity by 12. Brain Link, which is similar to the Blood Queen debuff, where it links 2 random players, and they take damage and lose sanity until they come within 20 yards of each other. Something called Malady of the Mind, which is a 4-second debuff that does damage as well as takes away your sanity, and it kind of fears you in place for a while. It does jump to other players within range of you when it wears off. So make sure that you have nobody in range of you within 10 yards when it wears off. And then she casts her Death Ray, and that's exactly what it sounds. It gives you death when you touch it. So that's the first part of phase 2. The second part is every 60 seconds she spawns portals into her brain, or into her mind, called the Mind's Eye. And basically, you want to have 2 DPS and a healer, or 3 DPS if they're confident, run in there and kill all the ads, run into her brain, DPS the brain, and jump out using the portal in the back, all within 60 seconds. What we did is we brought 2 DPS, our top 2 DPS, and a shaman, so we could bloodlust inside the brain, and speed up phase 2 because it's kind of a difficult phase to organize. Some things to take into consideration when you're inside the Mind's Eye is that there are these laughing skulls that cast Lunatic's Gaze whenever you look at them or facing them, and that basically makes you take damage and lose sanity, which is not great. So what you want to do is you want to strafe around them with your back turned to them. Not that hard, although it does take some getting used to. The ads themselves inside the Mind's Eye do not do that much damage. As a rogue, I pretty much only got hit twice, and it was for like 3,000. So yeah, not bad at all. Although you need to make sure that you get out of the brain using the portal in the back before she casts Induced Madness, because if you're still inside the Mind's Eye, once you cast Induced Madness, you will automatically go insane and start killing people in your raid, so that's no good. So once you get her to 30%, you go into phase 3. Once again, you need to make sure you get out of the brain before she goes into phase 3. It's basically a tank and spank. Honestly, if you've gotten phase 1 and 2 down to a science, phase 3 is so much easier compared to the first 2. It really is just a DPS race, I guess. It's not hard. She casts something called Lunatic Gaze, and basically every 10 odd seconds she does this lightning thing and it makes you lose sanity. It is not hard. Deadly Boss Mods calls it out. People in your raid will probably call it out. And even if you're deaf and don't have Deadly Boss Mods, It's as simple as turning the other way, and you'll basically avoid all sanity loss. Something to bring into consideration in your raids is she also spawns Guardians during that phase, and while Guardians are not hard to get down, especially in current tier gear, she does do a drain life on them. So if you want the DPS to be quicker in phase 3 and her not to heal, then make sure whenever you're facing outwards as a melee DPS to DPS down the ads. And there you go. That's basically Yogg-Saron in a nutshell. I'm surprised I managed to explain the whole boss in this short amount of time, but I expect it to be a longer video, so I'm going to throw in some possible achievements that you can get while doing this boss that aren't your typical just completion achievements. And they are Alone in the Darkness, which is to defeat Yogg-Saron without the assistance of any keepers in 10-player. Champion of Ulduar, which is basically not letting any person die during any boss encounter in the entirety of Ulduar. Drive Me Crazy, which is basically defeating Yogg-Saron without any raid member going insane. He's Not Getting Any Older, which is basically a speed kill, defeat Yogg-Saron within 7 minutes. 1 Light in the Darkness, 2 Lights in the Darkness, 3 Lights in the Darkness, all having to do with the amount of keepers you have up during the boss fight. And I believe that's it. The only other one that I haven't mentioned was, Descent into Madness, which is, it's just the completion achievement, and then Realms First, but whatever. Anyway, so that's the fight. Those are the achievements. Have fun getting your rusted proto-drakes and your iron-bound proto-drakes. It's really easy. It's not a gear problem at all. You could be in really crappy current tier gear and still kick ass all the way up to Algalon. So yeah, that's the video. I'll talk to you guys later, and I'll try to put up the Halion video sometime in the next few days. Later.